أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. So our course is known as business accounting. So in the next 1 month, we shall be covering business accounting. And I've shared with you in your groups, I've shared with you a copy of the course outline. And I have also shared with you some references book that we shall be using. So the name of the course is Business Accounting, and I will not go deep into the course because I know most of the students in this class, they don't have a background in accounting. So it is only the student in the accounting department that have at least a good background in accounting. But for the other students, I know some of them, they don't have a good background in accounting. And as such, in this course, I shall not go deep into the accounting concepts, but I think in future there will be other courses, like for example, financial analysis. There is also managerial accounting. That is where we shall discuss all these concepts in detail. So in our today lesson, this is our first module basically. And in our first module, what we are going to cover is the word an introduction to business. Remember, the name of the course is business accounting. So even before we do what, even before we start talking about accounting, then we need to at least know what is business. So in this lesson today, we shall be giving an overview of business, the key characteristics of business, the definition and types of business. And this is very important because we have different types of businesses, and for each and every type of business, they have their different style of accounting. So it's very important to know these types of businesses. Then the role of businesses in the economy. Then lastly, we shall talk about what? Entrepreneurship. Because many people, they normally confuse between business and entrepreneurship. That is, are they the same or are they different? And if it is different, then what is the difference between the two? So this is, in brief, what we shall be covering in our lesson today. So, number one, as we start our lesson, there is what is known as business. So, business refers to the organized efforts of individuals to produce and sell goods and services for profit. So in brief, that is the definition of business. So number one, it's an organized effort. So anything that is not organized cannot be called business. So it is an organized effort of who? Individuals. People come together. People pull resources, sorry. People pull resources together. People pull capital together. To do what? To produce and sells goods and services. And when you're talking about goods, these are things that are tangible. For example, if you have a company that is producing, for example, mobile phones or producing cars, these are things that are tangible. These are products. Or sometimes it can be a service. For example, the telecommunication companies, they give us a service. These are businesses, but they give service. Then we also have hospitals. Hospitals, they don't give products, they give what? They give service. We also have consultants. So consultants, all these are forms of business, but they're giving service. But at the end of the day, the bottom line of all this is a rib. So all these people, they are organizing themselves to do what? To produce and sell goods and services. Why? because they want to increase their profit. They want to increase their what? Their bottom line, which is their margin. So the primary goal of any business is to provide value to customers while generating income for the owners. So any business aims at giving value to customers. And when you're talking about giving value, we are basically talking about satisfying a need, talbiyatul ihtiyajat. Remember, our mustahlikin, they have a lot of needs. These needs to be satisfied. And we, as a business, we can only satisfy our customers by doing what? By giving them goods of value, by satisfying their needs. So we are doing what? We are giving our customers values while generating income for the owners. So there are two things here that many businesses, they normally find it difficult to balance. That is giving quality to our what? Giving quality to our customers, and at the same time ensuring that we get enough income. It is very difficult to balance these two things. Now, businesses can vary in size. There are some businesses, they are very big companies, corporations. There are some businesses that are sole proprietorship, small businesses owned by one person. There are some businesses that are moderate, partnership. Sometimes it also depends with the structure. Then purpose. So we have different businesses, they have different purposes, reasons for existence. Some businesses, they exist because they're providing what? They're providing goods. Some of them, they're providing services. إلى غير ذلك. So ranging from small family-owned shops. So there are some businesses that are owned by families to large multinational corporations. Multinational corporation means businesses that have branches in more than one part. So for example, a multinational like Dahabshil is a multinational corporation because it has branches in what? It has branches in different parts in different countries. So multinational means we are a business and we are having branches in other countries. That is the meaning of a multinational corporation. Now, what are the key characteristics of business? So if you want to know what is a business, ما هي الخصائص? What are the features of a business? Number one, here amaliyatul iqtisadiyya. It is an economic activity. So if something is not an economic activity, it cannot be business. So business is fundamentally an economic activity. And economic activity involves three things: production, distribution, and consumption. Production is all about al-intaj. So for example, we are having a company that is producing milk. So the milk has to be produced there in the company. That is the production. Or if it is mobile phones, it needs to be produced. Or if it is laptops, we need to produce it in the company. Then after that, once we produce these products, we need to distribute it. So distribution means, how is this product going to reach our customers? So we can talk about wholesaling or through retailing, or sometimes directly from the producer to the consumer. So sometimes you don't have the middleman. So I just produce in my company and I take it directly to my customers. But many companies, what they do, they produce, then they have the distribution, they have middlemen who do what? They do what? They distribute to the customers. Then lastly, consumption. Consumption is all about al-istihlak. And this is where the customers are. So we are producing this good because we want these goods to be consumed by our customers. Now, so that is the first characteristics of what? That is the first characteristic of business. So businesses engage in activities aimed at satisfying customer needs and wants. When you are talking about needs and wants, we are talking about al-ihtiyajat. So any business diamond exists because it wants to satisfy the needs of its customers, and which in turn contribute to the economy. All the businesses in a country, they contribute to the GDP, the gross domestic product of a country. Number two, profit motive. Every business, they want a profit. You cannot start a business and you don't want something in return. So al-arbah, the primary purpose, al-hadaf al-asasiya, the primary purpose of most businesses is to generate profit for the owners or shareholders. So businesses exist because the owner, if it is a sole proprietorship, it is because the owner of the business wants some profit, or the shareholders. These are for the corporation. Shareholders, these are the people who have invested, they have injected their capital in a business. For example, the Habshil, maybe it has shareholders. So these shareholders, they also want some returns. So the pursuit of profit drives decision making and operational efficiency. Businesses must balance cost and revenue. So this is where the accounting comes. When you're talking about business accounting, as we shall see later, in any business, you have a takalif wal iradat. You have the cost and you have the revenues. So if you want to get profits, it means al iradat, the revenues, or al mabiat, the sales, it has to be more than the cost. If that is the case, you are going to get what? Al arba, profit. But the opposite is also true. If at takalif, the cost is high than the iradat, then you're going to have a loss. So you have to be very good in accounting to know what are my costs. Am I using a lot? What are my expenses? I need to reduce my expenses. Now, number three, another characteristics of a business, there is the element of risk and uncertainty. When you're talking about risk, we are talking about al-makhatir. So all businesses operate in an environment of risk and uncertainty. So unforeseen events, changes in consumer preferences, competitor action, and economic condition can impact business outcomes. So here they're telling us, as business people, we normally work in an environment that is what? That is very dynamic. فَالْبِيَةَ تَتَغَيَّرُ. The environment we are operating in, it keeps on changing. And because it keeps on changing, it is very risky for me as a business person, because I don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. I might go tomorrow and the customers, they don't want to buy my goods. This is what is known as consumer preferences. Maybe maybe it's Samsung company. It is selling its mobile phone, but maybe tomorrow people can just decide to go and buy iPhones or Infinix. So this is risk. Every day our consumers, our customers, their needs are changing. Number two, competitor action. You are not the only one who is doing what? Who is doing business. For example, if it is telecommunication, for example, you might be having Soltelco, you might be having Somtel, you might be having Hormud. They are all working in the same industry. So today people might decide, oh, we are going to Hormud, their bundles. They have good internet bundles. Or people might say, wow, we are switching to Teleson because their money or mobile money is effective. So we don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. So every day new competitors are joining while others are leaving. And economic conditions. Economic condition basically affects what? Economic condition. If the economy is doing well, our business is going to do well. If the economy is not doing okay, maybe there is inflation, or maybe there is hyperinflation, or maybe there is unemployment in the country. So how do you expect people who are unemployed to come and buy goods from my business? So all these things. Another thing is also taxation, the taxes in a country. If the taxes are high, it is going to affect my business. Then number four is organization, a tanzim. Businesses are structured entities that involve the systematic arrangement of resources, the human resource, financial resource, physical and informational resource, to achieve specific goals. So they are telling us business, they are structured. They are not things that are ashwaiya. No. So you cannot just wake up and say, wow, I'm going to start a business. No. You need to put structures. And when we are talking about structures, we are basically saying as a business, I have these four types of resources. Number one, I have the human resource. These are the people who are working in my company. I need to organize them. Who's going to be the manager of this department? You know, who is going to be in this division? So I need to do what? I need to assign the roles and responsibility of each and every person in my company. The financial, this is where the accounting comes. You know, I have money, I have some capital, but if it is not allocated efficiently, then the net effect is that we are going to get a loss. So we need to plan. And this is also part of accounting. There is what is known as budgeting. Good business people, they normally budget for their what? Resources. Then the physical resources, these are the tangible resources. For example, you have computers, your business has some cars, some furniture. Then lastly is the informational. And this in the 21st century, it has become very important because for you to prosper, for you to be successful in a business environment, you have to have enough information. You need to know what is happening inside the organization and outside the organization. And that one requires what? It requires al-ma'lumat wal-bayanat. You need to have all this information. Again, this information is going to help you when you're making decisions. Number five, value creation. The ultimate goal of a business is to create value for customers, stakeholders, and society at large. So customers will buy your products if they perceive, if they think that they're going to get some value because they have money. So in exchange, they want value. And when you're talking about value, we are talking about quality. If you are not giving me quality, then why should I buy your product? So our customers, our stakeholders, and even the society at large. Because the society benefits from what? The society is made up of citizens. So the whole society, they want some value from your what? From your business. Then number six, there is a tanafus, competition. Businesses operate in competitive environment where multiple providers offer similar products or services. This competition fosters innovation and efficiency. So when you're talking about business, we are basically talking about what? What I just gave you an example of the telecommunication. So we have we have Telesom, we have Somtel, we have Soltelco. They are all giving the same services. So they are all competing for subscribers. So what is going to happen? So this competition is very healthy. This competition fosters innovation and efficiency. Al-ibda and al-mada, al-kafa'a. So, for example, if we have Somtel and, for example, Telesom. So if Somtel is doing air, then what is going to happen? Telesom is also going to innovate. So they are competing. If I produce this, if I give this service, they are going to produce another service. And this innovation normally happens in the electronic industry with the laptops and with the what? With the mobile phones. So you find this here, we have Samsung S1. Again, you have Samsung S2, Samsung S3, S4. So for each and every S and S, there is some level of innovation. Because if you don't innovate, people are going to buy the other product. Then number seven, dynamic environment. Business normally operate in an environment that keeps changing. So the business landscape is constantly changing due to technological advancement, regulatory changes, economic shifts, and evolving consumer preferences. So the environment in which we are operating keeps on changing. Technological advancement. Today we are using this technology, the next day we have AI, the next whatever. So there is the technology is going to force us to do what? To innovate. Then you have regulatory changes. The government today is saying, hey, you have to have this license. The next year it's going to increase the taxes. The next year it's going to require some licenses. So the regulatory changes. There are a lot of requirements from the government that is going to either affect our business positively or negatively. And the economic shifts. Sometimes the economy is doing well, mashallah. Sometimes the economy is not doing well, you know. And evolving consumer preferences. Evolving. The needs of our customers keeps on changing. What Muhammad wanted yesterday is not what Muhammad is going to need tomorrow. So these preferences keeps on changing. And that is why as a business, you need to invest a lot of money in what? In marketing research. So the marketing research is going to enable us to know the many needs of our. And then number 8 is customer focus. Successful businesses prioritize understanding and meeting the needs of their customers. This customer-centric approach informs product development, marketing strategies, and service delivery. So, if you want to survive in the 21st century as a businessman, then you need to focus with your customer. You always have to call them. You always have to inquire from them. You always have to give them the survey. How is our service? Was it okay? Where can we improve? Ila ghairi dhalik. But if you don't take good care of your customers, what is going to happen? They are going to go to your competitors. And if they go to your competitors, then you're going to lose a lot of money. And in that case, your business is going to collapse or your business is going to go bankrupt. So you need to prioritize al-awliyat yakun man, our mustahlikin, you know, and meeting their needs. We need to always strive to meet their needs. And this is what is known as the customer-centric approach. In an exam, sometimes you can be asked, what is customer-centric approach? So customer-centric approach is the obsession with the needs and wants of our customers, you know. Then number 9 is social responsibility. Modern businesses recognize their responsibility towards society, including ethical practices, environmental sustainability, and community engagement. So if you are doing any business, and this is what is known as ethics in business ethics. I think you will do that course. I don't know if you've covered, but there is a course that is known as business ethics. So business ethics is all about al-akhlaq when you're doing your business. So number 1, there is the ethical practice. For example, al-ghish, man ghashana falaysa minna. So when you're doing a business, you should not do what? You should not do ghish. You should not involve yourself, for example, in riba, because it's haram, you know. You should not involve yourself, mathalan, in what? In monopolization of goods and services. This is what is known as al-ihtikar. It's haram. So yes, I'm a businessman, but there are Islamic principles that are guiding me. Environmental sustainability. If I'm doing my business, I should not do what? I should not pollute the environment. There are some businesses, they don't care about the environment. They pollute the air, they pollute the water, ila ghairi dhalik, and all this has negative effects to people. It has negative effects to the environment. Then lastly, community engagement. This is what is known as corporate social responsibility. If you are doing business, always it's very important to give back to the society. It's important to give back to the society. So, mathalan, I am Dahabshil Bank, and this year we happen to get a lot of profit. So, from this profit, I can decide what? I can decide that from this profit, I'm going to pay some school fee for some students who are struggling, or I'm going to help the masakin, or I'm going to build a hospital, or I'm going to build a mosque. So that is the mindset you should be having. That is what is known as social corporate environment. That is, I'm doing business, but also there is the element of zakah from my profits. What am I giving back to the society? Then number 10, regulation and compliance. Businesses must operate within the framework of laws and regulations that govern their activities. So if you are in any country, there is what is known as labor law. When you're talking about the labor law, it's there to protect the employees. For example, how much are you supposed to pay them? If you are working, for example, in Somali, you have to know what is the minimum wage rate. If I want to open a business in Somali, I have to know how much do I have to pay? What is the minimum salary there? I have to know if I'm starting a business in Somali, do I need some license? Do I have to have some what? رخصة إلى غير ذلك. Environmental regulation and industrial standards. So when you're going to start any business, you have to be aware of all the rules and regulations that guide the world. Now, this is an important note. Understanding these key characteristics of business helps entrepreneurs, managers, and stakeholders navigate the complexities of the business environment. So it is very important to know these characteristics, because these characteristics are going to help you to do what? To navigate the complexity of the business environment, because the business environment is very complex. There are a lot of things, there are a lot of regulations, structures, policies that are involved there. So each characteristics interplays with others, influencing business strategies and overall success. So these characteristics, they normally affect our business strategy. Remember when we were studying the strategic management, we talked about business strategies. So all these characteristics, at the end of the day, they are going to influence our strategy as an organization or as a business. Now, definition and types of business. We have three common types of business. We have the sole proprietorship, the partnership, and the corporation. So you find that if you are an accountant, the accounting in sole proprietorship will be very different from the accounting in partnership. And the accounting in corporation is going to be also going to be very different. So that is why you have to know what? That is why you have to know you have to know these types of business. Because for each and every type of business, then the accounting is also different. So when you're talking about sole proprietorship, it is an unincorporated business that has just one owner who pays personal income tax on profits earned from the business. So, so when we're talking about sole proprietorship, it is a business that is owned by one person. So you get the profit, you get the loss, and your income is also taxed. You know, as a person, if the business goes down, halas, you go down with your business. If your business is doing good, mashallah, you are also going to do good. Now, so a sole proprietorship, this is a business owned and operated by a single individual. So it is the simplest form. You can just wake up today and say, I'm going to open a business center. I'm going to start business A. So it's very easy to start. The owner is personally liable for all debts and obligations. I'm the one who is responsible for all the takalif and all the duyun, because I'm the owner of the business. You know, minimal regulatory requirement. If I want to open a sole proprietorship, the al-ijra'at kalila. You don't have a lot of processes, you don't have a lot of regulation. So the advantages: total control. MashaAllah, I'm the boss. I decide everything I want in my business. Direct tax benefit. Profit tax as what? Profit tax as personal income. So the profit that you get in your business are tasked as what? As personal income. So this direct tax means, for example, as we shall see in corporation, there is what is known as double taxation. Double taxation. For example, let us say an example, you are working at the Habshil Bank. You are working at the Habshil Bank. So double taxation means that you, as Mohammed, the government is going to tax your salary, then at the same time, the Habshil as a company is going to be taxed. So there is double taxation. But when you are doing your business, sole proprietorship, you are only taxed one time. Khalas, finish. There is no double taxation. Then easy to dissolve. If I want to dissolve it today, oh khalas, masalam, I'm going to dissolve it, no problem. It's not like corporation, like the Habshil, for example, today. If you want to dissolve the Habshil, it can take like even 10 years because a lot of people are involved in the decision making. What are the disadvantages? Unlimited liability. If the business go down, khalas, you also go down. So that is what is known as unlimited liability. Or for example, if you take a loan from a bank, if you don't pay the loan, they will come and take your business, repossess everything you're having to cover their loan. Limited access to capital. If you're a sole proprietorship and you go to a bank, it might be difficult to convince the bank to do what? It might be difficult to convince the bank to give you the loan. Then potential for limited expertise, because you are the only one who is doing the business, you don't get to learn from other people. Unlike big companies where there are different people with different experience. One is good in computer, one is good, for example, in business, in human resource, another one. So, but in sole proprietorship, there is limited expertise. It's only you. You cannot consult anybody. You cannot ask for guidance. You cannot ask for advice. So that is the danger of what? Our sole proprietorship. The opposite is partnership, al-musharaka. These are formal arrangement by two or more parties to manage and operate. So in the sole proprietorship, the accounting is not complex because you can see everything is very easy. So as you move to partnership, the accounting becomes more and more complex. So a formal arrangement by two or more parties to manage and operate a business and share its profit. So people come together, two or more, they pool their resources together, and they also decide how they shall share the profits and the losses. Now, so a business owned by two or more individuals who share profits and responsibilities. And there are two types of partnership. Number one is general partnership. All partners share liabilities and management responsibility. So if you are starting a business, if we are three of us, all of us, we share the liabilities. Liabilities means if, for example, there is any loss, we are going to share the loss together. And management, we are all of the three of us, we are managing the business. Every day, the three of us are there. We are involved in the decision making. Now, limited partnership. So it includes both general partners and limited partners who contribute capital but have limited liability. So when you're talking of a limited partnership, we are basically saying that yes, we are three of us, but in cases of losses, there is some limitation. Like if there is, I'm going to give my capital, but then again, if there is losses, I'm not going to be part of the losses. So when you're signing your partnership agreement, that is called a limited partnership. You know, now what are the advantages? Pooling of resources, shared decision making and management, pass through taxation, profit tax at individual partners. Then the disadvantages, shared liabilities, potential for conflict between partners, stability is affected by changes in partnership. So I think we'll stop here today because today I don't have, we have some few slides remaining. So we shall stop here in our lesson today because I have some other commitments. And even tomorrow we shall not be having our lesson because tomorrow I'll be traveling. So tomorrow we shall not have our lesson. So I will compensate the lesson next week, inshallah. So tomorrow I'll not be available. Okay. So that is the end of our lesson. So I will share the link of the attendance. I have a link. I will share the link of the attendance in your groups. Please write your name, your mobile number, then submit the word, submit the form. I will share a Google form for the attendance in your groups. So if there is any question before we leave, you can ask. We have some 2 minutes remaining. If you have any question, you can ask, please. Is there any question? Okay, I think if there is no question, I'm going to send the link in your group. Then please, I'll only give you 5 to 6 minutes. Ensure that you write your name quickly and submit the form. Is it clear? So if there is no question, let us meet next week, inshallah. I'll also share the word. I will share the video. I have my YouTube channel, so I will share the link of my YouTube channel, and you'll get the lesson in my YouTube channel. Is it clear? Okay, that's all, please. We'll meet inshallah in our next lesson. Assalam. Okay, thank you.